Hey guys, welcome back to my channel today. In today's video, I'm actually going to be doing something a little bit different, and that is talking about hand creams that I think you guys need, especially right now when we are washing our hands constantly, using hand sanitizer. These are the 3 picks that I have for you guys. These are all great contenders when it comes to keeping your hands moisturized, hydrated. It doesn't irritate any cracking, which can sometimes happen when you're washing your hands a ton. And if you have eczema as well, I have the perfect solution for you too. So let's get right on into this video. I hope you find this helpful. I know I have. There's a ton of hand creams out there, and these are the best, you guys, I'm telling you. And the first hand cream I want to talk to you guys about is actually one I don't recommend during this time. The reason for that is because this is a heavily fragranced hand cream, so I find that it irritates any cracking or redness, especially eczema. If you have anything like that on your hands, this is going to irritate, sting, not be a good situation for your hands. And especially if you have overly dry hands, this is a no-go. This is very thin as well, and I don't think that this is a good contender, especially for right now. This is the CREME from Chanel. Essentially, it says hand cream in French on the top. It's a really nice white kind of orb-looking product. You take the cap off and you squeeze the container and it comes out the little kind of opening at the top. This is incredibly thin, but because it's a Chanel product, you guys can probably assume very, very fragranced, which it is. It smells like... what does it smell like? Very floral, very, very fragrant. Like, certainly not anything natural, but this is kind of like a nice day-to-day, make your hands smell nice kind of thing. Tiny bit of hydration, etc. I have seen a ton of influencers push this product, and to be honest with you, I think they are well-intentioned. This is a hand cream after all, but for my skin needs, I don't have eczema or anything. My skin is normal. It wouldn't even say it's dry, but it's especially dry right now because of what's been going on. This just doesn't cut it for me. And like I said, the fragrance is a huge irritant, especially to cracking. I find for myself, I can get especially like irritated by the knuckles. I can get some cracking from the hand sanitizer and the soap that I'm using, but also on my hands, like the knuckles are the worst. And sometimes I can get some eczema there, just mild, but enough where I'm like, oh heck no, this is not a good option. So the Chanel one to me is not for this particular moment in our life. I'm sorry, it's just like an everyday quick grab, put your lotion on type thing, but I don't find it has a ton of moisture for extremely dry hands. Which brings me to my first recommendation, and this is one that I don't think you guys have ever heard of. I didn't hear of it until about a month ago myself. It is sold locally here in Winnipeg, but it's also on Amazon. This is called Weleda, something like that. It is a German brand. I know it says it's from Germany. It says made in Germany here. This though, is a very interesting product. Why? Because of the consistency of the cream, I was almost initially turned off by this. It's very sticky at the beginning. It almost is like when you're kind of rubbing it into your hands, it's very, very tacky. You can feel the tackiness on your skin as you're rubbing it in. And I was like, I don't know. Like it says here, this is the original ultra rich cream. It has a potent plant extract formula, which intensely nourishes dry skin. Now this is the positive of it, and this is what outweighs the fact that it's so tacky at the beginning. This actually hydrates. This actually does something. So how I use this is I use it at night because while the tackiness part of the cream is kind of settling in, you really can't touch anything. So it's kind of the unfortunate downside of this product. It will transfer to a phone, it will transfer to a book, to clothing, things like that, and kind of have that little oily residue. But the reason why I love this so much is because once it settles in, which isn't that long, so it's about like 3 to 5 minutes, so I feel like I can be uncomfortable for a little bit just while it does its magic, but then it really hydrates, and I feel my skin really supple and hydrated, and it doesn't irritate any cracking. This doesn't have like perfumey fragrance either, so it doesn't have that stinging sensation if you have any openings, like minor cracks or you know, things like that. This is also something where a little goes a long way. If you do find that you're putting too much on, you will feel that immensely tacky feeling almost overwhelmingly, so make sure you're doing a little bit. Take that little bit and really massage it in and take your time with it. You will see some great results. Like, I am very, very impressed with this thing. So this is the Skin Food from Weleda. The last two recommendations that I have are actually both at Sephora, so it makes it a little bit easier to order. The first one is called Eczema Plus Hand Repair Cream from Skinfix. This is one that's not as thick as the other one I'm talking about. It's a little bit thicker than most, but it's not as thick as the Weleda one I talked about. I would say medium out of the consistencies. This one is it doesn't have any fragrance perfume-wise. It smells just like a cream, I would say. This one says it's clinically proven to treat eczema and dry, cracked hands. Now, this is one that also doesn't irritate anything. Like I said, my eczema on my hands is basically like non-existent to extremely mild, so I wouldn't necessarily be comfortable having that promise of like, yes, it cures eczema, because I don't have a full-blown eczema issue on my hands or anything. So I want to be respectful of people that actually have that concern. So this is something that I think is worth trying. If you have like prescription cream for eczema though, please continue to use that if it's helping you. But for this one is a 1% oatmeal, 5% sweet almond oil as well. Yeah, it says it targets eczema, dermatitis, and dryness. This is one that I would say also does a good job of moisturizing. I think this one too, just like the Weleda one, it's a little bit greasy at the beginning. So again, once it settles into the skin about 3 to 5 minutes, then you'll see the true hydration. But all of these products I find, they're not like an instant drying kind of therapy, I guess you could say. You do need to kind of let it sink in and wait a sec. But once you do, it just saves your hands, I'm telling you. So this is a good option for sure, especially if you find that oatmeal really works for you. This is a great one. The last one I want to talk about is from Kiehl's. This is the Ultimate Strength Hand Salve. And it says all day care for extremely dry, active hands. This one actually has some botanical oils in it, so it has a little bit more of the oils than the other two I'm talking about. This one has avocado, eucalyptus, and sesame seeds, so if you find that you're a little bit irritated by that stuff, do note that. This I would say is the thinnest out of the three. The eucalyptus on this is very evident. I wouldn't say it's overwhelming, but it's definitely enough for you to notice it. So do keep in mind if eucalyptus is something that bothers you, it is technically an essential oil that can be irritating to people, but I don't find with the mild eczema that I do have on my hands and the mild cracking that it actually affects it. If you have a ton of cracking, a ton of irritated skin, this one, I think because of the eucalyptus, I would be a little bit careful with. I think I'd probably recommend these two over that one, especially if you have that over irritated skin because of the fact that the eucalyptus is in there. But this one also does a great job of hydrating the skin too, especially if you're okay with the eucalyptus. This one does take about, again, 3 minutes to set into the skin, but once it does, you have that nice hydrated kind of supple feel to the skin. So to summarize, we have this Weleda, oh my gosh, I cannot say this, but the Skin Food anyways, definitely the thickest cream. A little goes a long way, but it does have the most amount of moisture for sure. Leave this on for 3 to 5 minutes. With the heat of your skin, it will absorb into the skin really well, but do know that it is a stickier formula than the other two. I would say with regards to hydration, this one is still really high, but this one is not as hydrating as the Weleda one. This one's also really good for eczema and irritated skin. Doesn't have a fragrant smell, just has sweet almond oil for the moisture and some oatmeal as an active ingredient. And the last one is Kiehl's with the eucalyptus component to this. You have to be careful if you have a ton of open cracks or very major eczema, but this does a great job. It also hydrates really well, but out of the three, this is the third place one, so still excellent, but once again, in third place. A great option if you are not sensitive to eucalyptus. This one is also the thinnest in consistency out of the three, but it's still a very heavy duty cream. A lot of you guys have recommended to me the L'Occitane hand lotions as well. That is something that I'm also going to kind of put out there by saying that they are fairly fragranced as well. It depends on the type of lotion that you get from them, but a lot of them have perfume or high levels of essential oils that make it smell really nice. But that being said, I have personally had reactions from those hand lotions when I have open cuts on my hands or when I have eczema. I do find that they sting, especially because of that fragrant quality, so I wouldn't recommend them for this type of thing either. I would kind of put it at the same level as the Chanel La Crème Main because Both are fragrance products. They both provide very mild hydration. It doesn't last very long though, in my opinion. So I don't think that they work as well as these three. Which hand creams are you guys swearing by right now? I feel like these three are saving my skin, especially during this time. I hope all of you guys are staying safe and healthy. This is just a really quick video to kind of throw that out there. I've been getting a lot of questions about what hand creams I've been using, what hand creams I think actually work. So do let me know your thoughts on all of these. If you have another one to recommend, I would love to know. And until my next one, guys, take care. Thanks so much for watching. Bye, guys.
You and me, everything that we've been through has made us strong. You won't believe we've had our gray, but somewhere there's a light inside of us. It shows the way.